So we touched all those fancy methodologies. What about traditional project management? Is that still on the table, or should we forget about all that we learned in PMI and also?
I would say, I'd say the answer is that the technologies of traditional project management will always end up having a place, and they tend to work better in some applications than others. And I think the big essential difference is whether you're dealing with a highly predictable world, it's sort of how far in the future you can see. Is the fog 100 meters away and you can't really see very far? Okay. Or can you see out 5 kilometers ahead, and therefore doing a plan will actually be useful and not have much requirement to change? So most of the assumption behind traditional product management is that I can see where the target is going to be in the future. And in the course, I think I used the example, the difference between a cruise missile and an anti-aircraft missile.
Right, yeah.
And a cruise missile is basically a subsonic missile like the Tomahawk that will go and hit its target. It'll go to exactly where you tell it to go. And you want to blow up a utility in downtown Baghdad with a cruise missile, the question will be, do you want it to go through the first floor window or do you want it to go through the second floor window? Now, perfect solution for blowing up a utility because the future position of that utility is precisely known. When you're shooting down an aircraft, you have no idea where that plane is going to end up being. So you use a totally different strategy, which is you have a missile that flies at Mach 4. A plane, even on afterburners, is somewhere above Mach 2 and things like that. It's between Mach 2 and Mach 3. That thing. So you use a missile that flies faster than the target, and you always point at the target. And if you follow that simple rule, is stay pointed at the target and fly faster than the target, you shoot down the plane.
Right. And
it has nothing to do with your ability to predict where the target was going to be. You're steering that missile while it's in flight. And my analogy would be most of the PMI view of project management is well suited for stationary targets. It has very little capability to make changes while you are in flight. It typically is just trying to correct deviations from plan. It's not trying to totally rethink the plan when you're halfway through. And I think increasingly what we're finding is the world we actually compete in is the facts are constantly changing. We need to rethink we need to get rid of features that no longer make sense. We need to inject new features that become apparent after we've started the program. Right. And we basically need more than one modality for dealing with projects.
Right.